Welcome to another in the series, The Sip and the Chat. Welcome to another in the series, The Sip and the Chat. I'm your host, Leleith Tomlinson, and Happy New Year to all of our viewers. And remember, we say happy. We're speaking that by faith because we believe that all will be well. So Happy New Year to all of our viewers and those who continue to support us. And we're looking forward to a great 2024. We're going to declare the things that are not as if they were, and they will come into reality. Well, this afternoon I have another. We're starting off with a oh wow this year because we have a very engaging and very informed guest with us this afternoon. He's Dr. Rakar Williams, and I've had the privilege to work with him on a number of community initiatives way back. In the inner city, we worked on some community projects together. He is a justice of the peace. He's a marriage officer. He's a husband, and he is a father of 4 children. And I'm telling you, when you are a bishop or a pastor or just a minister, you are the father of a multitude of children.
Yes.
Welcome, Dr. Williams. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. I am doing well, thanks.
All the best for 2024.
Thank you, and same to you and the team, and for those who are viewing.
Yes, I'm really happy. The Lord has been good to us,
Yes.
and to Him we give all glory and praise. Well, Dr. Williams, this from this series we want to look at the whole matter of crossing over and how important it is as individuals, and we know organizations do it, to look back. How important it is to look back. Before you get a little bit, just tell our audience a little bit about who Dr. Williams is.
Well, I am a servant leader. I grew up in the church, and I serve in the church until I'm now serving as a bishop for 3 locations, the Model Church of God. But by profession, I am an accountant, and so my life has been in accounts. And so I'm now serving as a CFO within the Jane Group. So that's it. In terms of personality, I like to help people. I like to work with people. I like to engage people. I like to help people in terms of planning their lives, in terms of where they are going, and also to encourage them to accept the Lord, because the Lord has been the source of where I'm at today, and to Him I owe everything.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Williams. Now, as we embark on a new year, we know
Yes.
that there are many things that people do. And one of those things that people do is that they enter into this whole matter of goal setting and so on. But before we get into any of that, how important is it to add closure to 1 year and then make steps towards a new year? How important it is to do that, to reflect on what happened in 2023 and then move on?
Well, certainly, it is very important. Coming into a new year, you can come with mixed feelings. The past year could be one that causes us to be angry. It could cause us to, be thinking about our failures. It could cause us to think about our missed goals, the goals that we have missed. Fear, we have fear coming in, disappointment, grief, and even guilt. And so, these can prevent us from going forward. And so we can look back and see where we need to make adjustments so that these things don't hinder us from making this year be a better one. So it's very important to look back.
So what you're saying, Dr. Williams, is that as we migrate from 1 year to the next, it is important to look at what were some of the challenges that we had
Yes.
in the previous year and try to get those resolved, because that's actually what I want to really zero in on.
Yes.
Because what people don't understand is that when issues are not resolved, be it guilt, be it grief, be it managing your loss, disappointments, things that didn't happen, until you're able to properly resolve those issues,
Yes.
you're not yet open to embark on new frontiers. And
Yes.
that in itself can mitigate against you accomplishing anything.
Yes, certainly.
So you're saying to our viewers today is that there could be a lot of good things that lie ahead, but until you're able to deal with the challenges that you had yesterday and even look back on the successes too. Because
Yes.
I'm thinking what you want to do is build on the pillars of success, learn from the lessons of failure.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, because I have this quote, I found it very interesting. It says, "One error in judgment is not life defined." So,
Sure.
Dr. Williams, talk to us about, that bad thing that happened to us in 2023, and we just can't move. How important it is to get, how do you gain strength to move on? How you buckle up your shoes and start run again?
Right. There are various things that we can try. Sometimes we have to just say, boy, I'm going to let go of the past. I'm going to think about something new and do things differently, make a better plan. And also we have to value, the importance of even just apologizing. Sometimes we made some missteps in the past, so we have to apologize so that we can move on. So the bottling up, takes some work. It takes us doing something, takes us assessing the situation and thinking about it and saying, what best must I do, to move forward. So it's a very important exercise, and it's one that causes us to work. It's not just sit down and expect things to change. We've got to do that work.
Right. So as we move forward into a new year, one of the things that we're learning is that we all have to do some self introspection.
Yes.
It's absolutely healthy.
Yes.
Look at where you are, where you wanted to go. What are some of the pitfalls? What were some of the high moments?
Yes.
And then learn from those things. All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
No, we reach a part where a lot of persons are saying, okay, then I looked at my challenges, I look at my success, and I want to move on. Now, as you move on, and we said, okay, I'm going to set some new goals for 2024.
Yes.
What should be the first thing in our minds?
Well, I think if we're going to set goals, we have to look at the 5 Ws.
Okay.
Why we are setting these goals, and what the goal is going to be, and what you want to get from this goal. Where is this goal going to take you? When do we really want to achieve this goal? And also, who are we looking, we're setting this goal for, whether it's for ourselves, for our children, for our church, our work organization. So we have to look at the who as well. So it's very important for us to determine that kind of exercise, realizing that sometimes we have some big goals, but we've got to achieve some small ones first before we get to that big goal. And so the 5 Ws help us to work on the individual goals so that the big goal can be achieved.
All right. So let us just take them little by little now. So the first one is the why.
Yes.
So we have to understand, because sometimes we hear persons express their own goals and we take up that goal and think it's our
Our
goal.
goal.
So and the goal, those stretch, and we're saying to be, you can stretch your goals, but also we have to set our goals within informed with
Boundaries.
information and
Yes.
boundaries. Because, for example, a person might say, and we know that when it comes to faith, that's a whole different lesson.
Yes,
But
yes.
for example, you might say to yourself, I want to accomplish something major. I want to buy a house, right? And you know the resources that you have. No, what happened now? Then you hear your colleague say, I want a house, a car, and I want to be married.
Yes.
You automatically change your goals
Goals.
to be that person's goal, because their age might influence you and say, but he's 30.
Yes.
Or he's 19 and I'm 30.
And he wants to be married.
So, and listen to his goals.
Yes.
So we, first of all, as we go through this, we must know why we're setting those goals.
Right.
Right? Somebody's goals could complement yours and could be
Yes.
yours.
And
But
enhance it as
it
well.
must be that you are passionate about your goal. Because what is important about is that you understand the why
Yes.
behind what you're doing. And so what is the other one again, Dr. Williams?
Um,
So everybody must be clear on the why.
Right. We also have the what
What? And I'm thinking now that the what is, what will this do for me?
for you. Yes.
Right. What will this do for me? Because sometimes you hear some people, everybody, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight.
Yes.
And you're like, why?
Like you do a degree and you finish and you say, but why did I really do this?
Exactly.
And then you end up going into another program because you did this degree, you still don't feel fulfilled and it's not taking you.
And it terrorizes you your whole life, because you spent 4 years doing this bachelor's or this master's. First of all, the field that you're in, or the field
Yes.
you intend to be in, it's not complementary to
Right,
it. So
right.
it's almost like this was done in vain.
Yes.
Right? And you feel this sense of frustration and so on. So we have to understand the what.
Yes.
What is in this for me? Some level of self gratification.
Yes.
Is it that I'll be so empowered to be able to help other people transform lives? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
I remember, like, I did my psychology degree, and I mean, it's like a lot of people sometimes say, "Yeah, man, me can get like a counseling, or me can," but they don't understand that this is a discipline that has opened up our eyes to so
Yes.
many different things.
Yes. Yes.
So the discipline, you might, even if you don't function in it every day,
Hmm.
which in my field I do, but it's something that's so relevant and gives you, even though you're helping
It
people,
helps you as
it
well.
gives you this sense of fulfillment and this sense of self.
Yes.
You understand
Yes.
what I'm saying? So always understand the what. And what's the next
The
one?
next one is the where. Where is this goal, gonna take you?
Exactly.
Yes.
Today is the 14th of January, and we know already that persons are out there plotting, doing their vision board, and so
Yes.
on. But as you're doing those things, they could be an exercise in futility
Hmm.
if you don't understand this journalistic approach that is used
Yes.
to understand the five doubles: why, what, and where. What's number four?
The next one is when.
When, right?
Is it this year? Is it next year? Because I mean, the goal probably you can't achieve it this year, and you might frustrate yourself trying to achieve it this year, and it definitely can't happen.
And remember too, my win might not be your win.
Exactly.
And that is something you have to understand, because like you talk
Yes.
about the frustration. If I said I want this by this time, I might have the resources to accomplish it by that time.
Yes.
But you might not have those resources to
Right.
accomplish it. But it don't mean we might not end up at the same
Same
point,
point.
but
Yes.
it's just the when. And then final, which is the other double.
Who? A big one. Who?
Who are we?
Setting this goal for.
Who are we setting this goal for? Is it for
Yes.
me? Is it for other people?
Yes.
So those doubles are very important. So as we go through this process, we want to look on those five doubles. And this is all happening before the goal setting,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
All happening before the goal setting. So goal setting is a major three-step, three-prong
Process.
approach,
Yes.
where we look at the pre-goal setting, and
Right.
then now we're setting the goal. So let's go now. We're helping somebody out there. So when we're setting a goal, first of, what are the first steps?
All right. So when we're going to set the goal, we have the acronym which we call SMART to guide us. And we look at, and in each of these, we have different things that we think about, we plan. So the first
So
one
hold
would
on,
be,
Dr. Rakar. So we don't just go and write down the goal first. We begin to start to think about it in a way, and as we begin to think about it, we start using the SMART concept.
right,
Okay.
to guide us. So the first one is you want it to be, the goal to be specific. Now, when you think about a car, you could talk about the year, the brand, the color, the model, whether it's leather or right. You could talk about keyless or key. So in being
Gas or
specific,
electric.
right, diesel or what. So in being specific, you put all the features that you need with that particular car. And that's a good example of how when we talk about being specific. When you talk about a house, it could be a townhouse, it could be,
Bungalow,
right, it could be what they call a quad.
the apartment.
Right. So you be specific about what you need. The next big area would be measurable. You must be able to measure the goal as you go along. So you set targets to measure the goal as you go along. So as you set the goal, you have things in place to help you to know whether or not you're on target or not. So the measuring there is very important. So for example, if we're talking about a relationship, we can talk about setting a target where you call the person maybe once for the week. So after 2 weeks or so, you can look back and say, did I call this person over the 2 weeks? And you can measure it. So the measurability is very important. The third area now is,
Because I heard them say what gets measured gets done.
yes. The third area now is it must be achievable. It's very achievable for everybody to buy a car, but then if you're not working, it's going to be a challenge. And also to upkeep the car is another major thing. So whether or not it's achievable it is one that we have to think about. And also it must be realistic, something that it can happen. And your reality will dictate whether or not that is possible. So the reality is very important. And then time bound. What timelines are we working with? Which is similar to when we talk about when you really want this goal. And so as you set these different acronyms and you work and you set the goal, it's a process now after you set it to actually move into action.
Excellent.
Doing what you need to do, and so you can achieve it. And then the biggest thing is that when you achieve at different points, you also celebrate. Yes, we are to celebrate the achievement And sometimes you don't reach to the big goal yet, but you have passed the milestones, celebrate and feel accomplished. And you'll eventually reach where you want. In fact, when you celebrate, it's actually going to motivate you to keep working towards the ultimate goal.
That is so important, Dr.
Yes,
Williams,
yes.
because a lot of people, right? For example, let us even say building a house or
Mhm.
doing a degree, or
Yes,
even in terms of just being able to say, okay, I want to grow spiritually in the Lord or whatever it
yes,
is. We don't celebrate incremental success.
yes,
It's a lot of people are type A. It's all or nothing.
yes.
So you're building a house or you want to buy a house.
Mhm.
You went down to NHG, you told that this is the amount that you need, and you're far from that. But then you are able to at least,
Get
over
a
time,
or get somebody to partner with
to
you.
get somebody to
Celebrate
partner with you.
that.
So celebrate that. You buy a car. It might not be the dream car that you wanted, but you still have a car. You
Yes.
celebrate that, and you have to watch out as well for the naysayer people,
Hmm.
because one thing that I've recognized as a car is that, Williams, is that en route to success, there are times when you have to morph into the big thing.
Yes, yes.
Huh? You have to morph into the big thing.
Hmm.
So today you might have, just a regular little car, probably a little
Yes.
Corolla, probably a older model and so on.
Hmm.
But if your goal is that by this time you want to have a Porsche or you want to
Hmm.
have a SUV or whatever, celebrate this and
Yes.
be happy about it. You understand? Because
Yes.
I find that when you're able to appreciate small things
Hmm.
and just motivate yourself, it gives you fuel
Hmm.
to continue moving towards the bigger goals that you want.
And bear in mind that as a young person, sometimes you have several goals working on. You want a dream house, you want a little car. You don't want to buy an expensive car and then you never attain the dream house. So you have to juggle and make ends meet and start small, achieve this, you move on and make sure that all the goals are working on somehow and you achieve the big picture.
Wow. Yeah, as you said that, Dr. Williams, I'm just thinking about persons who you're trying to go towards a goal, but the goal seems to be eluding you,
Unreachable.
unreachable. How you encourage those people?
Wow, I would say don't stop, keep going. I mean, even in studying, recently I reflected on that with my staff. We're studying and I'm studying and it was a challenge. You fail at sometimes, you feel like giving up with the program, you start to explore whether I should go into a different course, and so on. And just have to be encouraging yourself, asking, looking for people who will motivate you, whether your family members, your pastors, so on. Talk with them about your situation. Get persons who will really stay with you to pray with you, because sometimes the prayer that keeps you,
Yes,
and
yes,
that will
yes.
really help you to move forward.
And I think it's so important to have positive motivations around
Yes,
you.
yes,
I mean, when I think about the Bible and just how opportunity can present themselves, I think
yes.
about David.
Hmm.
I think about David who was in the back of the desert taking care of the sheep,
Yes,
right? He wasn't of prestige, ability to
right.
go to battle against the Philistines, right?
Hmm.
But an opportunity created itself.
Yes.
And we all know how the story goes, that
Hmm.
he went and he was able to defeat, not just confront,
Yes.
but he was able
Defeat.
to strategize, confront, and defeat the mighty Goliath.
Yes, yes,
Dr. Williams, I want you to talk to some persons out there on the importance of preparing themselves as they plan to go for that breakthrough moment.
yes.
Because even though sometimes we plan for, these long periods, sometimes things can happen. But
Hmm.
what is important in always preparing ourselves for those breakthrough moments that can occur?
Yes. So, one of the key thing for me is that I build my life on the Lord. So from a young age, I had the Lord. So he was my sense of motivation, my sense of help. But when you're going after a goal, we need dedication, we need commitment, we need perseverance, you need stick-to-itiveness, you need to be putting in hard work. You need to be reviewing the plans periodically to see where adjustments are needed. You also have to motivate yourself, and you also ensure that you have the right support, accountability partners, trusted friends, those who will help you in the process. And most importantly for me, we need the Lord in our plans. Don't just run ahead and set goals and think that you are going to do it your way. We need the Lord in our plans. Make sure that whatever we do, it is in His will, because that's how you're going to be fulfilled when we live in His will.
Let's talk about making the plans. I remember I'm being reminded in my head about the scripture that says, or the builder that builds
Build
and doesn't build on the Lord, he builds in
in
vain.
vain.
Buildeth
Yes.
in vain and
Build on
doesn't
the
build on the
sand.
Lord. Right. So even as I say, build on the sand as well, that is so important in goal setting
Hmm.
because some persons are building some gold on some very shaky foundations,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
And so when the foundations are very shaky, when the storms of life comes,
Hmm.
the wind is going to blow down those
Blows down.
houses, right?
Yes.
And shaky foundations are usually as a result of lack of information,
Yes.
right? Somebody
Or
tell
using illegal means.
exactly,
Hmm.
and it happens all sometimes even in the church too.
Yes.
People
Yes.
are plotting some course with some yes, people are plotting some goals with some very shaky foundations.
Foundations.
But like he says, cast your cares, come to him with your plans,
Yes.
and let him know, he already knows your heart's
Hmm.
desire, but he want you to speak to him
Yes.
about those what those desires are.
And the scripture in the gospel tells us that when you're going to build, you count the cost, which is
Hmm.
about planning and the goal setting that we are talking about.
Right.
We count the cost.
So when we're building, we must build on the solid foundation.
Yes. Yes.
And those solid foundation is Christ as well as proper information.
Yes.
Because we have seen in this country in the past where persons were so investing and thinking that this was going to be the gateway to their dreams. But
Yes.
those foundations,
Like the cash plus.
yeah, people were building their foundations on
Yes.
things that were not necessarily solid,
Yes.
but in the eyes of men, they were solid,
Hmm.
right? So, whatever we're doing and we're going forward, like Moses, we're going to say, Lord, I'm not going to go
Unless you're going
unless
with
your
me.
presence goes
Yes.
with me.
Mhm.
How important is resilience?
Resilience is very important, and I think as Jamaicans, it's inborn within us, and it's about always believing in yourself.
Mhm.
Always know that we are good athletic people, so we're gonna run no matter what is coming,
Yes,
and we're gonna push ahead because we want to achieve whatever we want, and it doesn't matter what others say. You keep your mind focused and say, "This is the goal, and I'm going at it."
it's very important that you mentioned this whole athleticism and the nature of Jamaicans. One of the things that we know, I remember when one of our hurdler, his name McFarlane,
Yes.
and he was doing his hurdle. They always say he's an unusual hurdler. He doesn't go over it as nice as
Nice.
everybody else
Yes.
does, but he gets over.
Right.
He gets over. He
Good.
might not have the nice stride like everybody, and they made a lot of fun about it, but he brought us to prominence in the hurdles
Yes.
because he was going to do
And he
his
stayed
goal was to do
focused.
it his way in
Yes.
his time. And then we have other athletes who sometimes in the race, even
Hmm.
though that's a race about competition and so on, they might fall back.
Hmm.
Or they might sometimes, on that curb, they drop out of the race,
Yes.
but they get back in the race
Hmm.
and they continue because that is their goal.
Persevering.
And so when we want to just highlight again some of those key ingredients that keeps you focused. As when we mentioned resilience, and
Hmm.
resilience is about coming back from your setback.
From a
You have
setback.
to be very elastic sometimes.
Hmm.
Your bones, you come back up. Very,
Right.
very resilient. Persistence,
Hmm.
right? Like the woman who wanted the healing for her daughter. I hope you guys are writing down these things.
Yes.
Persistency.
Commitment.
You're not. Commitment. In other words, why I don't get through today, but I'm going again. I'm going. Commitment.
Hard work.
Hard. Talk to us about the hard work because
Yes.
some people always believe that man are going to drop from heaven.
Right, and we fold our hands and just expect everything to come to us. We have to do the hard work. Sometimes we have to do research. Sometimes we have to knock on doors. Sometimes people who you probably think they're going to say no, you fix up your face and go to them and believe in yourself that I'm going to ask. Because the word of God tells us, that you must ask and it shall be given, seek and you find, knock and it shall be opened. But sometimes we don't explore in that way. We just expect it to come to us.
That's so very important. I'm reminded as well because I like to infuse the word of God with whatever we're talking about. And one
Yes.
of the things I'm reminded of as well is the whole Nehemiah story. How he became uncomfortable so
Yes.
that the bigger vision of God's people could be accomplished.
Please.
So sometimes in goal setting, you have to become uncomfortable now so that you can become comfortable later.
Yes.
It's like making a sacrifice. Say, listen, I could go to the party, I could do this, I could do
Yes.
that, but I have a bigger goal in mind.
Mind.
And so right now, laugh at me. I come into work with my rice and peas and
Yes.
noodles or whatever it is, yeah?
Yeah.
Or just vegetables and gravy, and you're laughing at my dumpling or whatever, not
But
too
your
much.
day will come.
But I'm preparing for my bigger and better.
Yes,
And
yes.
somebody out there needs to do this because we don't, as we set our goals for the future, it's a why.
Yes.
We know why we're setting it. We don't have to try to conform to the proverbial
Mm-hmm.
people that we call the Joneses,
Right.
but we must know in ourselves why we're doing this. And as the year unfolds, we want you to write it down, like Abaka said, make
Yes.
it plain, let the vision be plain.
Mm-hmm.
Because each time you're going to go back to that goal and you're going to refresh your mind as to why
You're
you're
doing
doing
it.
this. Talk to
Yes,
us
yes.
about that.
Yes, so that is very important. And one of the things as you speak comes to me is a matter of not allowing pride to get in the way, and what other people would think. You have spent enough time to set this goal, you've done your work, your research, and so on. Be focused, depend on God, and go forward with your goal. That is the key thing for me.
Well, you know what? I want to talk, as we're wrapping up, to really put this in. A lot of people love to tell people that, oh, they're over the hill. Lord, you're
Oh
past the
my
age, it's not
God.
going to happen.
Your age off the
That
calendar.
is a myth, right?
Yes,
Because we're
yes.
seeing day in, day out how many people. I saw a 93-year-old lady the other day getting her degree,
Yes.
right? People going back to school.
People
So
just passing CXC at age 30 odd.
there was a lady the other day, she was helping, I think it's Dottie Berry, this
Comedian.
comedian in Jamaica, blogger. His mother was being recognized at school
Yes.
because she had made all the sacrifice on her child and now she had a chance
To
to
go and
pursue
do
her
for herself.
academics. So a lot of people out there sitting on the couch today need to understand that it ain't over until
No.
really and truly you tell yourself
So
that
that
it is
it's
over.
over.
I'm not just going to say God said over because a lot of time God is saying to you, get up.
Mhm.
But your mind is telling you that you can't do it.
Right.
So whatever it is that you want to pursue, you seek the Lord about it and you rise to the occasion because we are familiar with the exceedingly that He's able to
Abundantly.
do. The abundantly above
All
all
that we
that
could
we
ever
could ever ask
ask
or
or
imagine of Him.
imagine.
That's the awesome God that we serve.
Yes,
So
yes.
as we wrap up this program, your final words, Rakar?
Well, I want to say it's very important for us to incorporate and involve God in our plans, in our goal setting, because He is the author and the finisher of our faith. He knows the future best. He gives us the support we need. He motivates us. He encourages us, and His thoughts towards us are good. He wishes above all things that we will prosper and be in good health. And so it is the man to trust to help us along.
Wow. You don't need nothing more than that. You make sure you watch this program over and over and share it with somebody. What else could you need? The author and the
Finish
finisher.
off your
In other
faith.
words, you might be going through your life and you are in this chapter, but God already knows the beginning.
He starts it and He ends it for you.
He starts it and He ends it for us. Well, all the best for 2024. And remember, darkness cannot be removed with darkness.
Yes.
Darkness can only be removed with light. Let the light come forth out of you this year
Amen.
because they're still bigger and better. Happy New Year and all the best. Thank you so much, Dr. Williams.
Thank you also.
It's such a pleasure.
Yes,
Thank you.
great.